a visit to the still open border today. Meanwhile, California police arrested an illegal immigrant suspected of murdering an officer during a traffic stop. For more on both stories, Fox correspondent Jonathan Hunt is here. Jonathan.
Good evening, Mark. The arrest of the alleged killer of Officer Ronil Singh came just 48 hours after the 33-year-old officer, who leaves behind his wife and 5-month-old son, was gunned down. The suspect, Gustavo Perez Arriaga, was in the U.S. illegally, according to the sheriff, who angrily denounced California's so-called sanctuary laws, which the sheriff said prevented Perez Arriaga being deported for previous DUI convictions.
We can't ignore the fact that this could have been preventable. And under SB 54 in California, based on 2 arrests for DUI and some other active warrants that this criminal has out there, law enforcement would have been prohibited from sharing any information with ICE about this criminal gang member. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not how you protect a community.
With immigration and border issues at the heart of the current government shutdown, Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen today visited the border area near El Paso, Texas. Her visit was primarily to get a first-hand look at the medical screening facilities at border stations in the wake of the deaths this month of 2 young Guatemalan children who had crossed the border and were taken into custody by Customs and Border Patrol agents. The CBP commissioner has said in the 2 separate tragedies, agents did all they could to help the 8-year-old boy and 7-year-old girl as soon as they became aware they were sick. The Secretary's visit also comes on the heels of hundreds of immigrants being released onto the streets of El Paso this week by immigrations and customs enforcement agents, with ICE saying they are constrained by law over how long they can detain immigrant families. Secretary Nielsen, by the way, Mark, is also due to visit border facilities in Yuma, Arizona tomorrow. Mark?
Thanks, Jonathan. Earlier this year, by the way, the Oakland mayor, Libby Schaaf, publicly took a stand against America's own laws after learning of an impending ICE sweep that was seeking criminal illegal aliens in that jurisdiction. Schaaf issued a warning so that those illegal immigrants could flee. She said that any other action would be racist.
It is a continued distraction. It is a continued perpetuation of a racist lie that immigrants are not valued members of our society. We in Oakland know better. We in Oakland have a community that welcomes and honors all people, no matter where they came from or how they got here.
Well, months later, after the murder of that policeman from Fiji, Schaaf tells BuzzFeed, quote, "I have no regrets, none. The more time goes by, the more certain I feel that I did the right thing in standing up for our community and pointing out our values are not aligned with our laws." Travis Allen is a former assemblyman and candidate for chairman of the California Republican Party, and he joins us now. Travis, really this appalling murder, and it's hard to look at that photograph on Christmas morning of that a policeman and his wife and their 5-month-old child and the service dog, and not to feel as his fellow officers did in denouncing the indulgence of these illegal immigrants. Because this guy was a model immigrant. This is the choice. You want people like this to come to your society. He comes here from Fiji. He assimilates with the community. He serves the community. He becomes a police officer. And then someone who shouldn't be in the country murders him. And the mayor of Oakland is really on the illegal side rather than the legal side of this.
You're exactly right. And, this is the criminality that we're seeing in California. Libby Schaaf, as you just mentioned, the mayor of Oakland, gave warning to over 900 criminal illegal immigrants, people who came here illegally and then actually committed crimes while they were here. Because of her warning, they're now roaming free across the state of California. As you know, California is now an illegal sanctuary state as well, which means that our federal or our law enforcement can't cooperate with federal immigration authorities. So you start pairing this together, and then you can understand the sort of problem that we have in California. And this tragedy that we just saw, with Corporal Ronil Singh, how do California Democrats, how do Democrats across the country like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, how can they actually hold their heads high and address the family when they know that the weight of this tragedy falls fully on their shoulders?
Why?
So look, I tell you.
Why have they chosen, though? The Democrats have made a choice. That mayor says immigrants. They aren't immigrants. They're illegal immigrants. They're criminals. Corporal Singh is an immigrant. He filled in the paperwork. It's tedious. It's time-consuming. He did it by the book because he wanted to come here by the book. Why do the Democrats choose the other guys?
Well, and this is the problem. They're choosing people who are not valid, legal U.S. citizens. You talk about Corporal Ronald Singh. This guy was from Fiji. His whole life's dream was to be a police officer in the United States. His family called him their action hero. This guy was an incredible man. He had an incredible family and his whole life ahead of him. Right. Why should Pelosi and Schumer be putting illegal immigrants ahead of U.S. citizens and our safety? You know, this is why it's very clear. Not only do we have to secure the border, but we need to do it today so we don't have more of these tragedies.
You're right on that, Travis. Thank you for saying that. Rudy Giuliani.